it wasn't that I ever wanted to kill myself. Like, I know I can't do this anymore. We all serve some master, so why not let it be the master that is above all?
I will dedicate myself to you. Please, God, if you can straighten my life, if you could just straighten my life out.
God can use anyone. And when I say anyone, I mean anyone. Even if you just got saved, even if you don't know a lot about the Bible, even if you're Oliver Anthony, right? And you have the #1 song in America right now, Richmond, North of Richmond. He recently gave his life to Christ, and he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he shares this powerful testimony. Now, I just recorded a video when Hulk Hogan was on his podcast, and Joe Rogan actually tells Hulk about this experience. And I want to share a short clip where Joe Rogan is telling Hulk about it, and then we'll get into the clip with Oliver Anthony. You're going to love this.
Do you know the story of Oliver Anthony? Do you know who Oliver Anthony is?
No, I don't.
He's this guy who was the #1 song in the country, and he recorded it in his backyard in
Is this the
Virginia.
red-haired kid we're talking?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy gave himself to Christ like 30 days ago.
Come on.
And,
Wow.
and was having all sorts of problems with substance abuse and normal chaos, and he hit rock bottom. And like, I don't want to speak for him. I don't know what he actually said, but it was something to the tune of, please, God, if you can straighten my life, if you could just straighten my life out, I will dedicate myself to you, and I'll be on the right track. And then 30 days later, he's clean, and he hits with this insane song. Do you know the song?
Yeah.
Now that's awesome. He mentions it to Hulk, and I want to make one thing clear. When you give your life to Christ, it doesn't mean you're going to have the #1 song in America or everything's going to go right for you. But it does mean that God can use you in whatever it is that you're already doing, right? And so I want to share this clip with you. I want to give you hope. I want you to understand how big God is, not compartmentalize him into only God being able to use certain people who have certain education or have been in the church for a certain amount of time. This guy is hot off the press, and God is using him.
I have said this 100 times already, but like I'm certainly no preach. Like, people have made comments about like, oh, well, why does he reads scripture or whatever and talks about God, but then he does other things like I do have some foul language, and I do sing some songs that I've written.
Now there is some cursing, so just so you know, heads up warning.
About whatever, getting high and hanging out in the woods, but like, it's just what I am. Like, I'm not here to say that I'm anybody better than anybody else by any means.
Well, didn't God invent the woods and weed?
Yeah, well, there you go.
I don't believe anybody that tells you that God doesn't want you to have weed.
I do want to use, if there's anything I would like to capitalize on with my opportunity, it's just like, because for me, just being in the position that I've been in the last 2 years, and just the trash I've had in my head is, I tell you, like, I don't care who. And look, I haven't been in a church in 10 years, and I'm not saying I'd ever go back into one again. I don't know about all that, but there's a lot of things in Proverbs and Ecclesiastes.
Well, and all that means is he's in process right now. Like, he's still figuring it out. Doesn't mean he's not saved. It doesn't mean he doesn't love God. He's in process.
That make sense and are timeless to today. Like, if people just could if people could just have enough open-mindedness to just read a little bit of Proverbs and just see what it has to say, I think like it would make the world a better place. There's a lot of truth in those words. They don't just talk about it. It's real life advice that I work toward every day, applying in my own life.
So was there like a moment with you, because I've read the legend story, but I wanted to ask you this in person. Was there a moment when you had like a literal come to Jesus moment where you realized you were at rock bottom?
Yeah, I mean,
what was going on?
Yeah, I was at a point where I was having, man, I don't even think I'd call it panic attacks. It was just like, everything was just so screwed up. I was getting chest pains and shooting pains all down into my, like, I was having like almost cardiovascular symptoms that are just, I guess now I realize they're stress and anxiety related, but I really thought I was going to die. Like,
holy shit. This is why you're drinking a lot? Smoking weed a lot?
Yeah, well, I think maybe the weed was even causing some of that. Like, I was slamming down some, we can grow it in Virginia now. So I grew, I grew a lot of pounds of weed last year. And so like, And I don't even know what I'm going to do with it all now.
You
But
can sell that on eBay.
I've got, yeah.
Bring it to
Sell it in
Colorado.
your truck. You can buy a Suburban.
I'll save it. Yeah, I'll save it for hard times.
If you
but,
come to Virginia, the back of the Suburban, where it's legal, the back of the Suburban will be packed with as much weed that is legal to sell.
But
you.
yeah, I had grown some crazy stuff and was
Bro.
smoking it. And
Oliver Anthony weed brand. We're in.
I think
Let's
it's
go.
like, yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan's got his own weed brand. Why don't you?
We'll talk about all that in the growing because I am intrigued with the growing. But yeah, to your point, it was like I just almost disconnected from reality. I don't want to say I was having like, I was never psychotic or having like,
You're freaking out.
I was very disassociated from like my reality. Like I can remember just being around really close friends having dinner one night. You get warm and fuzzy feelings being around people you care about.
Yeah.
And everything was just ice cold. Like I just tried. It was almost like I just tried to feel something other than what I was feeling.
And
I
what were you
couldn't.
thinking during these times?
I was thinking that
Like, what was the state of your life?
I was thinking like that I was thinking like I don't know, suicide's a weird thing because, and I can't speak for everybody, but for me, like it wasn't that I ever wanted to kill myself. Like I knew I wanted to keep trying to fight and get out of whatever it is I was in, but it was almost like at some point I thought I was going to do it almost as a fight or flight response, like that I couldn't escape whatever it is that I was in, and like that was going to eventually be my only way out. And so as sad and as whatever, like I hate even talking about this, but I feel like I should talk about it. I mean, where else to talk about it but on Joe Rogan? But it's,
I think if we're honest, and there are people out there that are desperate, right? They don't really want to die. I don't know that people really want to die, but as he explains, like fight or flight, like this is, I was desperate, right? And this is what he's dealing with right now. This is powerful.
like that was one of the things that compelled me to throw a lot of these videos up just off my phone. Like it's funny when I had those songs, and maybe I still do, I haven't looked at the charts in a week or whatever, but I had stuff on iTunes that was like in the top 2 or 3 spots, other songs. Those were just recorded off my Android phone, uploaded on YouTube. I ripped the WAV file off the YouTube video and then just uploaded it through DistroKid. And so like people were buying like the number 2 song on iTunes at one point, I think it was Ain't Got a Dollar, and that's just the audio from the YouTube video. But I wanted to get all those, I had a lot of these songs
from a
sitting
microphone
around
from the phone,
from my
standard
Android
microphone?
from my front camera on my Android phone. Yeah.
So he records a song from with his Android microphone, right? Uploads it to YouTube, downloads it from YouTube, re-uploads it, and that version is number 1 on Apple Music. Now I know a little bit about music, and anytime you upload and download it, there's some degradation that happens, and so the audio quality goes down a little bit. It's almost like washing your clothes multiple times or sticking something with tape, pulling it off, and then the tape isn't as sticky, right? It's degraded a little bit, and that's the version that went number 1. Again, God can use anything. This is amazing.
And so like
Sounds pretty good.
I wanted to get all that up though, because I really didn't know, like I didn't know if I was going to be around to do it. I mean, man, I was taking aspirin every day thinking like I was going to have a heart attack. It was just, I was having like all this crap.
So what was when you were recording these things and releasing them, what was the hope? The hope was that people would enjoy them. The hope
Yeah,
was people,
I was just trying to leave them out for the world in case like,
in case you died?
yeah, in case I guess in case either I died from a heart attack or
Do you know how
like,
huge these songs would be if you died? I think that's like the most horrible rumor about Jimi Hendrix.
Now that's they make a fun, a lighthearted moment about that. They would be bigger if he died, but he was desperate. He was desperate, and he wanted to get something out just in case this happens. I don't know if you have ever been there, but man, this is powerful. Let's go on.
I have to be careful with what I say because I don't like my shit stinks. Like I'm nobody special and I'm not here to preach to anybody,
All
but
of
I'm
ours
telling you,
does,
like
right?
giving things to God for me alleviated 99% of what like I had
Come on.
like I don't know how to describe it, but when you experience, and I mean you've done things that I haven't, like with DMT and all, and that stuff's very intriguing to me, and so I'm open-minded to all that as well. Like I'm not, but yeah, like I had when I kind of had this breakdown moment decided that I was going to let whatever ego I had go, and just at this point it's like I knew I didn't have much left in for me anyway, and I wanted to serve whatever purpose it was that I was here to serve. It's like you get this just overwhelming feeling, and I was just crying like a baby, just this very like warm feeling throughout me, and that that really hasn't gone away since. Like I'm not the guy that can play in front of 12,000 people on guitar. I would be like, I mean, I had never played a paid gig. When we played the show at the farm market where Jamie Johnson showed up, that was my first paid gig. Like, I'm not a guy to go out and play live shows, but I can tell you I was so like, I was just so at peace being up there. Like, it just felt like that's where I was supposed to be. And that, and with all of this, it has been like, there's no way that Chris from 6 months ago could handle what's gone on the last 2 weeks, but I feel just so empowered from all of it. And,
one of the things that happens when we accept Christ, when we surrender our life to him, it's grace, right? We experience the grace of God. Like, God, how can you love me despite me, right? And then peace comes into the picture. We experience grace. God, you love me, like, oh my God, like you died for me. And then we have peace because we invite him into our heart. And this is exactly what's happening in Oliver's life.
I don't know. I'm telling you, like, again, I'm not anybody special, and I'm certainly not here to preach to anybody, but just from coming from somebody who was just in a really just fucked up place. Like, and I use that word like with discretion, but in this case it describes like where I was. Like, that guy found a lot of peace, like, from this book. And from
now, before he goes on, I just want to say that I did a video with Tim Ross cussing, and then he just cussed, and he's in process, right? I feel like there's a difference between somebody who is new to Christ, who is using words to express themselves, versus like a Tim Ross, not to get off on a different subject, who has been a pastor and has all this influence and uses cuss words just to express himself. I just had to say that he's in process. He's growing right now. He's in discovery mode. I love this mode.
Looking at things in a different way.
Yeah.
From looking at things through the eyes of Scripture.
And I think for me, it was like I had been in church growing up, and I had been exposed to all of that, but I'd found a lot of theatrics and a lot of politics in church and in religion when I was younger, and so it just immediately turned me off to it.
So if you can, take us to like what was like the day you picked it up. What was the feeling that you had? Like, what caused you to act? What was it like when you did it?
Joe Rogan's asking some questions here. It really wants to know this salvation moment, how it went down.
Yeah, I mean, I'd been reading it here and there, off and on, and I had for like off and on for a long time, like, because I was introduced to it as a kid, but it was really just like, I remember I went to the ER for everything that was going on. I mean, I thought I was seriously going to die. Like, I was having shooting pains up under my jaw, down in my wrist and my leg, like just cardiovascular 101 symptoms. Of course, I'm 31. I had been like, I could run 4 miles without stopping, no problems. Like, I knew my heart was strong, but I just
freaking out.
Yeah, but I went and did that, and I remember being in the truck after that, just like, and I just had a breakdown moment. I was just crying, and was just I just felt hopeless, like almost the way a child feels hopeless when they, like you can't find your parent or something, like a 4-year-old that can't find his parents or something. I was just like,
what a good
just didn't have anything left in me, and I don't know. I just decided, like, right then and there, I was like, I know I can't do this anymore, but I know that I can. I know there's things that I need to do, and I was just told God, I was like, just let me do it. Like, and I'll give all this shit up. I'll give up the weed, and I'll quit getting drunk, and I'll quit being so angry about things, and I'll just call it good. Whatever I've done up from up until I was 30 or whatever, 31, like, we'll just call that good, and I'll start over again. And
he was repenting.
I'll make him the focus and not me. And I just tried to let my ego and everything that I was, just let that go and just focus on, because obviously, like, it's not just me. I've seen it with even other people I know, and I see it with celebrities and everything, but I don't know, I just feel like we're in such a weird place right now in the world that I feel like God's working through inadvertently through certain people to get his point across.
Exactly. And he's sensing all these things. God is opening up his eyes. He just got done explaining how he basically repented of everything he's doing. God, I will give all this up, change my life, take this away from me. This is a genuine conversion. This is what we're seeing right here. And this is why God is using him. And then look at the platform. Look at where God has put him 30 days into his conversion. This is such a miracle.
So take me to what you did. Did you start reading the Bible? Like, what did you do?
I just changed my perspective.
You changed.
I quit worrying about me, and I started worrying about what it is that I'm supposed to do.
Come on.
You know, like it talks in the Bible about being a servant, and giving up, I guess, my desire and my will and whatever it is that I want to do. Like, I don't know the best way to describe it, but it's about trying to use what I have as a tool versus doing what I can in the moment to give myself whatever satisfaction that it is I'm trying to get. It's about trying to let go of your ego, I guess, in a way.
Not to trade temporary satisfaction for eternal rewards. That's what he's trying to explain here. It's beautiful, this unveiling of a new Christian.
And I mean, people pursue that mentality without faith. I mean, it's the idea of there being something bigger than you, but I think inherently all human beings idolize something. Like it talks in the Bible about false idols. We all have false idols, like whether it's our phone or it's a celebrity or it's something we do or it's our addiction to food or drugs or whatever. But like, it's very difficult for a human to be the biggest thing on their hierarchy. There's always something above us, right? Because we're always in pursuit of something bigger than whatever it is in that moment. And I think for me, it was just about taking everything else, all the distractions and all the other things in my life away and just ensuring that at least, and look, we all sin and we all do stupid things. Like we're all just people. Nobody's special or righteous. People sometimes act like they're special and righteous, but we're all just the same thing. Like, but it's just about trying to make that my idol. Make God and the concept of what it is that he wants done on this earth my idol versus anything else.
Come on.
Like we all serve some master, whether we realize it or not. So why not let it be the master that is above all?
Let's go.
And so when you made this transformation in your mind, did you then start reading scripture like regularly? Like what did you start doing?
Yeah, well,
that was different.
Well, what really, I guess it's like now I don't read it because I feel like I should read it to be a better person. It's like now I try to read it for the guidance within it.
Let's go.
And I'm still in the infancy stages of a lot of this. Like I've read a lot of Psalms, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes, and Luke, and there's other good books. But
even Christians today read for what they can get out of it. And he's literally saying, I'm reading for what God can show me and reveal himself. That's why we read the Bible. That's how the Bible should be read, not what we can get out of it, but what God can reveal to us about him through it and about us, right? This is so good.
Just trying to, I don't know, like trying to restructure, I guess, on a granular level, like I guess the neural pathways in my brain that have certain habits and certain ways of thought, like I've tried to retrain that to, like there's things it says, like, and I'll be very brief with this, I promise, but like one thing, ironically, it's Proverbs 4:20, which I thought you would like. So if
he brought his Bible, by the way, to this interview.
It's anything better.
Perfect. Read it. Preach.
My son, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart. For they are life to those who find them and health to one's whole body. Above all else, guard your heart. For everything you do flows from it. Keep your mouth free from perversity. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil. But
that's pretty fucking profound.
But the whole book of Proverbs is like that. Like it's not preachy. It's not what you think. Like it's good guidance. It's like good guidance that you would want a father to give to his son.
But I think what the Bible is saying rings true.
That's so amazing. I mean, he hits rock bottom. He repents. He gives himself to the Lord. He surrenders his heart to the Lord, realizes that now I have to give myself, like I have to live for the purpose that God has given me to live for. And God elevates this song, right, to number one. And then he's using it as an opportunity to get the word out and say it's because of God, right? Isn't that what we're all supposed to do as Christians? Isn't that what we're supposed to do when he changes our lives? I mean, this is amazing. It reminded me of a scripture I want to share with you real quick in Romans chapter 12, verse 2 of what is happening. It says, do not be conformed to this age, but be transformed. He talked about those neural pathways that were changing. He had to change his old mentality, his old way of thought, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind so that you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. He talked about having to reprogram his neural pathways, rethink about God, think about his purpose, think about why why he's here on the earth. And he is on Joe Rogan's podcast, like 30 days after he gives himself to God. And again, this doesn't mean when we give ourselves to God, this is what happens. It just means that God, in his mercy and because of his grace, gave him this platform because he knew that he would glorify him in this season. And God is using Joe Rogan, whether he likes it or not, to bring all these people, the Jordan Petersons, the Hulk Hogans, and now the Oliver Anthonys, to talk about God, right, on the biggest platform that we have right now in podcasting. So let me know what you think below. I love this story. I'll see you on the next one.